Now, in America, we all have an equal right under the First Amendment of free speech. But no one deserves that free speech more than the man in the battlefield, who is more often than not paid his price in blood. Now, I want to introduce Billy and Karen Vaughn, parents of Navy SEAL Aaron, was with SEAL Team 6. And I'd just like to give you a little quick background. Aaron had a tattoo on his forearm, and Billy's got one just like it. He'll show you. But the tattoo is written in Greek, and the Greek word is spoken Malone Leve. And it represents the final words of the Spartan king Leonidas at the pass of Thermopylae, where his band of 300 Spartans held off the Persian king Xerxes and his horde of 600,000 Persians for 3 days, 300 versus 600,000, to buy time for the Greek army. The king called for Leonidas to throw down his arms and surrender. He said he would be well treated. Leonidas cried, "Malone Leve, come and get them." Leonidas and his men died to a man, but later the Greek army defeated the Persians at Plataea, so it was not in vain. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Vaughns.
I feel really unworthy to take any applause from all of you who have served. Wow, thank you. I'm always moved when I'm in a room full of veterans. Very touched. Thank you. You know, Billy and I, we understand that we've been invited here today for one reason and one reason only, and that's because almost 15 months ago now, our son, Special Operations Chief Aaron Carson Vaughn, gave his life for his country, for those he loved, and for the principles and freedoms that he believed in. So you must understand that this platform came at a great cost to us. Because of that, we have a great responsibility to speak the truth. Since this platform was built by our son's life, our only son's life, and ultimately his untimely death, it would be fair to say we became tragically aware that perhaps the cruelest, most deceitful acts of this administration have been perpetrated against the very ones who fight to defend and protect it. We found that on the night our son and 29 other brave Americans were shot out of the sky in what would become known as the single largest loss of life in the history of naval special warfare. They were on a mission to capture a very high-value target in the Tangi River Valley of Afghanistan in Wardak Province. This was an incredibly hostile area. We also discovered that due to this president's rules of engagement, criminal, if not treasonous, rules of engagement, no pre-assault fire paved the way that night. Why? Because pre-assault fire could be considered aggressive and damage our efforts to win the hearts and minds of our enemy. Again, due to this president's rules of engagement, our air support above, as you know, the most impressive the world has ever known, could not return fire on the men who shot that helicopter out of the sky that night. Why? Because we couldn't be absolutely certain there were no friendlies in the building they stood on top of when they launched the RPGs. Joe Biden, in an unprecedented display of pompous arrogance and stupidity, and like I said, this platform came at a great cost, so you have to bear with me if I sound a bit perturbed by this. He outed SEAL Team 6. And I'll say boldly to you today, as I've said to the nation over and over again, that at the very least, this administration put a target on his back and the backs of the other men on SEAL Team 6. And now, with shameless audacity, this president seeks to ride the backs of that very same team to his second term in the White House.
But where I've struggled the most is in watching Aaron's wife and 2 small children adapt to life without him. That's been hard. A short time after the crash of Extortion 17, which was the call sign of the chopper that Aaron and the 29 other Americans died on, the parents and spouses of the warriors were brought in for a briefing on what took place on that fateful night. When one father asked, the question, why didn't we use a drone strike? And by the way, I'm not saying whether we should have used a drone strike or not, but that was his question. Why didn't we use a drone strike? A 3-star admiral, Admiral Harward, stood and quickly told the grieving widows and parents, because we want to win their hearts and minds. Aaron did not join the SEAL Challenge program after September 11, 2001 to win their hearts and minds. He joined and was trained to defeat the enemy. America's enemies throughout the world must know that America is strong and that we will lead. For there to be peace as much as is humanly possible, America's enemies must know that there is resolve among our leadership. We must let our warriors use the force that is necessary to defeat the enemy and allow as many of them as is possible to return home safely to those that love them. America needs a commander-in-chief who has our military's back, and that is not President Barack Obama.